Hello, I'm John Adams, editor of Digital Photo, and welcome to this Photoshop Made Easy video lesson. What we're going to do is look at a very special technique that uses the hue saturation palette to change the colour of a particular item within a frame. It actually works by using colour, and the end result is you can change the particular colour of a particular item. Now in this example that we're going to use, we've got two real icons of Britain. We've got the red postbox and the red phone box. And what we're going to do is change them into something a little bit different. Rather subversive, I know, but bear with me while we show how the technique is done. Now of course you could use this to match a model's clothing to their eye colour, or if you've got a walker in a landscape wearing a loud, garish jacket, you could use this same technique to tone down the colour of it. But let's see what goes on and how it all happens. Okay, well let's go back to our starting point. There we go, where our phone box and our post box is red. Our first stage is to make a rough selection around the objects we're going to change. Because this technique uses colour, it will take colour from anywhere within the image, so it's best for us to kind of fence off the area we want Photoshop to work with. So we pick up the freehand lasso tool. In fact, let's just zoom in first before we do that. We'll zoom into here, pick up the freehand lasso tool, then we're just going to make a rough drawing around the outside of the parts that we're actually going to make changes to. If you get to the edge of the frame like that, just hold down the space bar, then you can scroll up. There we go. So this area here is the part we're interested in. Don't need that part, so we'll come round here. Then we're back into our subject, space bar to scroll. I'm just making a fairly rough selection all the way around the outside of those parts of the image. I've probably gone a little bit too fine there. Let me just hold down the Shift key and draw a bit more just to add to the selection in that area. There we go. And I'll hold down the Alt key and remove that part there. Okay, now we can refine that if we want to, but to be honest, that's absolutely fine for the purposes of this technique. A rough selection around the areas we want to fence off. Now we've done that, what we're going to do is separate this section and actually put it into its own layer. There's a really quick way to do it. If we just bring the Layers palette up on screen, you can just go to Window and select Layers, and that'll pop up on screen. All we have to do is hold down the Control key and hit J. What that does is takes the selected area and punches it into its own new layer. Here it is, layer 1, and we can see that area that we made a selection of. Now this of course is the part we're going to work on. They're the colours we want to change, so we're now going to bring up the hue saturation palette. We're going to just hold down Control and hit U on the keyboard. That's the shortcut whether you're using Elements or Photoshop, so remember that one, Control and U, and you'll have your hue saturation palette up on screen. Okay, what we're going to do is click in the edit box and we're going to pick one of the individual colours. It doesn't actually matter which one. We'll pick reds because it's the nearest to the top of the list. So we've picked reds, and then what we're going to do, these sliders will appear in the colour bars. We're going to crunch them all together. So just pull one so you've got them all joined up in a row like so. Once you've done that, make sure that your eyedropper is selected. If it's not highlighted, it means it's not selected. So click on the left-hand eyedropper and give that a click so you know it's selected. Once you've done that, what you need to do is click once on the red of the phone box or the post box. We'll just pick the phone box, I think. We'll click once here. Once you've done that, your red colour will be sampled. Once it's been sampled, then slide the saturation all the way to the left. And you can see there which colours you've actually managed to get with one click. Now we need to add to this stuff, so we're going to hold down the Shift key with our eyedropper still there, hold down the Shift key and click on the other colours, or drag the mouse across them like so, because we need to select all of these reds. And you'll see as you click on more and more and you gather more, these two sliders will move further apart as we kind of gather all the information we need. Let's just get in where we can on the image. There we go. We've got most of them now. We've got a little bit in the background here, so holding Shift still, just going to click on those parts, and I think we've got the lot there. Yes, I think that's everything. Once you've got all of the phone box and the post box, yeah, that's the lot there, then what you can do is return the saturation to 0, and everything will be as it was, except now you can change the colour. With saturation set to 0, you can now move the hue, and you can change those phone boxes and post boxes to any colour under the sun. Isn't that amazing? We're just selecting those areas. So we can have a blue phone box if you want, or indeed, I think we'll go for a nice bold green one. So move hue to about 100, plus 100, something like that. That should do the trick. And once you've done that, that looks a bit garish. It's gone a bit too loud. So what we're going to do is decrease saturation just to back off that colour somewhat. About -40, something like that. -40, -41, somewhere around that area. Okay, once you've done that, you can then click OK, because most of our work is done. The only thing we haven't done is quite cleared up. We've got a little bit of a overhang here and there in places, so we just need to tidy up the effect we've created now. And we can do this quite simply with the eraser. If we pick up the eraser tool and we rub anything out, we're just going to affect this top layer, this layer 1. That's the one we've made the changes to. So anything we rub out from there will simply reveal the real layer from underneath. So let's just move this to one side, and we can now work away. If we zoom in fairly tight, we can work away and just clean up wherever we've gone wrong. So we can adjust brush size using the square brackets keys. That's it. Then we can just have a little bit of hoovering, hoover up that green to allow the original stuff from beneath to show through. So we've got a, oops, I've gone over the edge there. Don't worry if you do that, just hit Control and Z to undo. There we go. I'll do this rather quickly. You can of course spend a bit more time if you want to. Bit more here we need to do. That's it, just taking our time to clean up those areas that have gone over the edge. Okay, got a green hand there, so we'll just take that out and restore that. That's the kind of thing. Then we'll move down. There's a couple of little errors here and there which we can just quickly tidy up. That should do the trick. A little bit here and there, and as you can see, this doesn't take too long just to move around the image, clearing up any obvious errors. There's the shoes there, need a little bit of work. But because we made that selection right at the beginning of the technique and kind of fenced off the area we wanted to focus on, we've got minimal changes to make just to get the image looking as good as possible. That's the sort of thing. And just a little bit on that hand perhaps, a bit of greenness. Anything on the post box we can just scan around that. That looks pretty good. Oh, just a bit on the hand really. We'll leave that green tinge on the letter that's being posted because that's reflecting the green colour of the post box. So we'll just take that bit there, just sort out the skin tones. That should do the trick. That's pretty good. And I think we'll be just about there. I think that's just about everything. Oh, that hand as well. And I think this is our last bit, so we'll just quickly work over that area. Then all we need to do is just perhaps zoom in nice and tight just to get that hand perfect. Just reduce brush size. There we go, just getting the colours right. It's always the details. If you miss out a couple of details, you give the whole game away. So we're going to make sure we don't miss anything while we're tidying up the image. There we go. A little bit more there. And that's the kind of thing. I think that's a complete job. We'll just double click the hand tool to have a look at the whole thing. That looks pretty good. We've got green where green should be, or rather we've got green where red was, and we can just of course click on the eye icon in the layers palette just to see the before and the after shot. And there you can see we've got a pretty perfect result, and we've changed our phone box from its normal iconic red colour into something a little bit more subversive. So give that a try. It involves using the hue saturation in quite a different and a challenging way, and of course you can use it in Elements or in the full Photoshop. So try that technique and use it to change individual colours within your pictures. Hope you found that interesting. I'll see you next time.